as well. And now we can get into the deep ecology side of things. Has anybody heard of deep ecology before? Do we have any experience with it? Oopsies, I skipped it. Okay. It's looking like no. So deep ecology is the idea, it's a philosophy that essentially humans need to recognize the fact that nature has inherent value in itself rather than simply having value because humans have assigned value to it. So last week we spoke a bit about allocentrism and this idea of working with a community to solve environmental issues that was more focused on a human perspective and the value that other people have. And the main premise of deep ecology is that nature and natural resources and non-human beings also have an inherent value that is not based on what humans have assigned to them, but it's based on what they are themselves. So the main focus of deep ecology is on a couple of primary issues, mainly being pollution, overpopulation, and then conservation, as well as environmental degradation. So those are primary issues that we're seeing on Earth right now, and the primary issues that deep ecology is looking at combating. And the ecological self is defined within two spheres, so acting and being in harmony with nature, and then also abiding by the norms of environmental ethics. And deep ecology can get a bit intense at times, so we're going to be speaking about sort of some of the values of it, but not all of the values of it. But the aspects of deep ecology that we found really resonated with what we're doing at Water Emissaries and what we think are really beneficial and important to know are, first of all, that the well-being and flourishing of human and non-human life on Earth have value in themselves. So these values are independent of the usefulness of the non-human world for human purposes. Like I said before, a fish has value because it's a fish, not because it's something that people can eat, which is very uncommon in the way that we look at the world and the way that we look at resources now. And then present human interference with the non-human world is excessive and the situation is rapidly worsening. So having an awareness of the fact that, we are overusing Earth's resources and we are taking too much, and learning how to take a step back and recognize that you don't have to own or have something or hold something in order for it to have value for you and in order for it to have that inherent value. And then next, the ideological change is mainly that of appreciating life quality rather than adhering to an increasingly higher standard of living. So like I said, it's sort of this idea of seeing a flower in a park and leaving it there for other people to appreciate instead of picking it and taking it home with you. It's this idea of really incorporating that into what you're doing in your daily life and in your interactions that you're having with humans and non-human things, whether that's plants or animals or rocks or water or anything else. And then policies as well must therefore be changed to affect economic, technological, and ideological structures. So really looking at this idea of incorporating it into the mainstream and incorporating this appreciation into what we're doing as a society. We spoke about this a little bit last week with, the idea of what defines a community and what makes a group of people a community. And at the end of the day, the planet is one big community. And so looking at ways that we can positively affect change into the systems that we use within that global community and within, local groups as well. And also, finally, richness and diversity contribute to the realization of these values and are also values in themselves. And this has to do with biodiversity, it has to do with ethics and diversity of people, it has to do with appreciations of differences between humans and the natural world, between humans themselves and everybody else, and looking at the fact that, our differences are something that adds so much value to our lives and our interactions with one another. So based on that, I'm going to stop sharing and introduce our primary speaker for this evening. Her name is Gitta Sivander, and she is an executive and leadership coach that works with individuals and teams and startups, as well as sort of long established companies, so everything in between. And her background is specifically in somatics, and she started that journey over 20 years ago. So she has an incredible amount of experience and just a whole host of knowledge to share with us this evening. When she's originally from Germany and Sweden, but she currently lives in San Francisco, where she is joining us from. And we will send you information for her website and her LinkedIn and everything after the call tonight. So Gitta, take it away.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, and also for getting us set on the overall topic that you're introducing here for everybody. Welcome. So glad to be here with you. I'd like to ask anyone that is not on camera right now and that can make it work, no matter what their background looks like, to see if you can turn your cameras on, as it would be really nice to see as many faces here as possible. I really appreciate that. I know some people are on the phone and that will not work, that we can see you, and just like to extend that invitation. And this is going to be a little bit of a different session than you are used to, as I'm not going to give you an all heady mental presentation here. We will not be sharing any pictures. This is going to be an experience, a somatic exploration. So you actually get to experience yourself in different modalities here. And so it's an invitation to participate and dive in. So my first request for you is to turn your phones off for this half an hour, 40 minutes ahead. Just turn it on silent, turn Slack off, turn any notifications off, so that you're not being distracted and can really be with yourself. That the more you can dive in, the more you will get out of this experience. I know we are on Zoom. It will be a lot more effective. We'll all be in the room together, and we do have Zoom. So let's make it as effective as you can. Give you like a couple of seconds here to turn everything off, except for your camera, of course. Wonderful. And then the other part I'd like for you to do is to have the view, like on the top right, go onto gallery view, not speaker view, so that we all get to see each other. We're equally important here. I'm the one who's talking the most, but I will also ask for some contributions in the next 30, 40 minutes. I will ask for some chat contributions, and those of you who feel comfortable speaking about the experience briefly, just contributing, you can also turn your mic off in that moment and contribute. So this is an interactive conversation here that we all have together. All right, are you ready to roll? Raise your hand if you're on the roll here with me. I can see almost everyone's hand up. Thank you. Excellent. Take a deep breath. Exhale and just sink into the seat. I think most of you are seated for now. We'll start seated here and get to standing later. What I'd like for you to do in your seat is to move away from the back seat. So if you feel like you're leaning back and sinking in and getting to this place of just deeply relaxing, you can do that as you're sitting on your sits bones. So I would like for you to be actively sitting without leaning back. There we go, on your sits bones, feet planted on the ground, shoulders wide and relaxed. You keep your eyes open or closed. I leave that up to you. Both is fine. But you're going to take a moment to tune in. I have a couple of questions for you to get started. And the first one is how you're feeling physically. So tune into your physical body. Eyes open or closed, either way is fine. And the question is, how are you feeling in your body? And there are many different responses. It could be like some tightness somewhere, tingling, warmth, expansion. Anything goes between feet, head, shoulders, organs, anywhere in your body. Getting in touch with how you're feeling right this moment. Might have been a really busy day and we have been in our mind just going. How are you feeling in your body? Just giving it some time here without talking for 30 seconds. And to give you an example, I'm feeling some tightness between my shoulder blades. I'm also feeling some pressure behind my eyes. Worked a lot on my computer today. I'm feeling some warmth in my feet as they're touching the floor. I'm feeling some heat in my ears. And I'm feeling an openness in my heart area. So whatever you're feeling, pick one. If your eyes are closed, gently open your eyes and write down in the chat box to everyone one thing that you're feeling that you're willing to share. Where the reason we are doing this is to get in touch with our bodies. We're so in our head and our eyes are on the screen. We forget often that we have a body unless we have like real pain going on, but there's a lot happening in our body throughout the day. So we're going to bring awareness to the body here, and I'm seeing the messages coming, and thank you for sharing. My chest is tight, aching in my middle back. I feel some pressure behind my eyes, tension in my neck, exhausted in my legs. Lower back hurts. There's an ache in my shoulders and lower back, pressure across the head. My eyes hurt a little bit. My legs feel jittery. Thank you for sharing that. I'm not going to work on solving that. We're just right now bringing attention to what happens. So that was the body, the somatic experience of the body. Now, a second question to you is emotions. How are you feeling emotionally? That could be like feeling restless, feeling excited, maybe feeling tired, joyful. So many emotions that can be there. So take a moment to tune into one emotion that you're feeling. And once you've captured that, put it into the chat box. I'm feeling excited to be here with you and to be sharing this with you. Any emotion is welcome. Feeling content, feeling happy. Content, lots of content. That's a good place to start from. Exhausted, tired, it's the end of the day. For those of you at the East Coast, anxious, a bit overwhelmed. Yeah. Feeling calm. Excellent. So just notice that that's what's going on. That's the state that you're in right this moment. Now, the third question that's related to us and our body is my mind. What is your mind thinking? Our mind thinks a lot of things, right? We go right and left and top and bottom. We go all over with our mind. Where is your mind going right this moment as I'm asking you this question? Maybe your mind is with global thought or water thought, or your mind is on, I'm drinking something, drinking water, Leah. Your mind can be anywhere. My mind here, just this moment went to actually seeing the flowers behind me. My mind is with, I'm noticing flowers. So write down in the chat box where your mind is going. Think of that, I can't keep still, the right corner. And you don't have to keep still. You're actually invited, corner, in this session to move. I don't even think you're on camera. So if you want to move and kind of express what you're feeling, if you're on or off camera, that's fine. If you feel like your legs are jittery and that's where your mind goes, you can move your legs. This is a moment here to really let that be expressed, whatever is real for you, whatever your mind thinks. Thinking about the noise outside of my room. I have a beautiful sunset in front of me. Ooh, that sounds inviting, a beautiful sunset. All the work I have this week, thinking about all my work, but trying to stay focused. All right, so if your mind goes to all the work, just go like, all right, you can write it down. Maybe I have a lot of work this week. Just jot it down on a piece of paper so you know that you can come back to that when we are getting out of the session. That way we can actually focus on being right here together. Thank you for sharing all that, everyone. Now, notice your breath. Just notice where in your body you feel breath movement as you're naturally breathing. Maybe notice that you're tired and taking a deep breath. A yawn, hope, it's all good. Actually, it makes me want to stretch. I saw Hope yawning and now I want to stretch. So whatever you feel inspired to do by what you see here in the gallery of the others, you're all welcome to respond to. I see Hannah stretching her neck. So I want to do that too. I see Madeleine rolling her shoulders. Tune in with each other here. And then see where that takes your breath. Is your breath happening in your chest? Is your breath happening somewhere in your lower chest or in your belly? As you're taking a breath, where in your body do you feel the breath moving? This is a good moment to just tune in with yourself again, either eyes open or closed. Where in your body do you notice breath? I notice my breath moving in through my chest and then going all the way down into my belly. I also notice my breath moving in the back of my body, especially in the upper back where my shoulders are. Wherever you notice your breath a little bit, see if you can expand that and allow for your breath to become a little bit more full in that area. So enhancing the breath movement that's already naturally happening, let it become a little bigger. It's almost like a balloon expansion. So if you notice your breath in the side of your chest, we're going to expand it out. Hi, Peter. Welcome. We are working on our breath, noticing our breath. So join on in here, Peter. Feeling whatever your body is breathing naturally, and then allowing for more breath movement to happen by letting the breath expand in that area where you're naturally breathing. Upper chest, middle chest, lower chest, belly, maybe the side body, maybe the back body. Maybe you notice it mostly in the front body. And then I like to invite you, see if you can bring a breath movement to an area that feels tight, an area where you don't feel breath movement, knowing that breath can move from the upper shoulders, the upper chest, through the chest, lower chest, all the way down into the pelvis. Anywhere in this torso, breath can happen. So wherever you feel tightness, and I heard earlier, some of you mentioned you're tight in your lower back. This is a good moment to think about your lower back or the area you feel tension and send some breath into that place. Just 3 more breaths here in the area of tightness. As you exhale, just let it go. Inhale into the area of tightness. As you exhale, just let it go. And then 1 more breath. Exhale, let it go. Open your eyes, coming everybody back into the room here, into the Zoom room together. Why are we focusing on breathing here? One of the reasons is that when we send breath into an area, we can actually send more mobility into that area, and with that, water can come into that area. So breath precedes movement, precedes the ability for water to be distributed in the body. And the more we can be in a liquid body, the more we can be one as a person. We all have areas where there isn't liquid moving in our body. It's stagnating, like the cellular expansion in our body, our 50 to 70 trillion cells that we have. There's a fight about how many we have, and we all likely have a little bit different, but 50 to 70 trillion cells. Each of the cells have their own breath movement and their own fluid movement, where the fluid is coming into the cell, expanding it, and the fluid moves out. And when there's tension and holding, the fluid cannot move and we get really tight. So using our breath to bring movement there will allow to fluidity to move there again. I know that you have spoken a lot about water, and we all know that our bodies build a lot of water, but I do want to remind you here that there is water in different components in different parts of the body. So scientists say there's between 60 and 70% of water in the body, and people drink a lot of water and are very fluid and moving. There is even more water in the body. The brain has 75% water. The blood has 83% water. The heart consists of about 79% water. Even bones have water in them. Between 20 to 30% of our bones are water. Muscles have 75%, the liver 85%, and the kidneys 83%. Lungs and heart are very high in water. And so in this session here, I like to tune more into our feeling of fluidity of our body, because the more we can feel that fluidity within ourselves, the more we can expand that out into our communities and share that sense of flow. It's an energy flow, it's an organ flow, it's a feeling that we have, that when we feel more fluid, it's much more easy to share with others and invite them into that fluid sense. So I want to move on to the next exercise here with you together, which is a flow experience from the heart chest area. And I'd like to invite you to place your hands onto your heart area. Keep your feet nicely grounded on the ground. I was starting with closing your eyes and tuning into the heart area inside of your chest. Our heart is actually right in the center of the chest, with the lower tip turned to the left. That's when we talk about the heart being on the left. But the heart sits in the center and the tip going to the left. And it's embraced by our lungs. 2 lobes of lungs on the left side and 3 lobes of lungs on the right side. So every time you inhale, your lungs are embracing your heart. And every time you exhale, your heart is being released from that embrace. Take a moment to feel that embrace happening in your body. You inhale, your lungs fill up with air, your heart is being embraced and hugged. And as you exhale, the embrace is softening. And from the sense of your heart as being embraced and released, we're going to move the heart right and left in the chest. So you're actually doing a movement where you move to the right and the left. And think of your heart being like a flexible ball that can roll. If you're unsure what I'm talking about, you can look, gently open your eyes and see what I'm doing as I am demonstrating it here for you. I do invite you to place your hand on your heart, because that may help you to feel that movement. Of course, you don't have to, it's just an invitation. Moving that heart inside of your torso. We call it a rib cage, but I much prefer to call it a rib case, as it's not really a cage. It's a case that holds us in an envelope. And find your heart back in the middle. And we're going to move the heart, roll that ball of the heart backwards, surrounding the chest and moving it forwards, like expanding the chest. Letting the heart sink back towards the back, to the bones of the back of your body, your spine, and letting your heart come forward, opening up the sternum area. Thinking of your heart being this rolling ball, it's rolling back smoothly and easily. And as your heart moves, it takes your whole body with you. Beautiful. These movements can be very small or they can be larger. We are lubricating and allowing for flow to come fully into our chest. Just a few more movements back and forward. And then come back to the middle. I'm going to do full circle, taking the heart back, to the right, forward, and to the left. The heart moves back. Keep thinking of the heart as a rolling ball, to the right, forward, and to the left. And there's no rush here. You really want to feel like, what is it like to feel your heart moving in circles? Allowing for opening in between each of your ribs. One side's opening, one side's closing. We're not giving this a lot of movement in our day-to-day life. We always sit upright, we stand upright, we lie down, but we rarely ever move our heart inside of our rib case. And then change the direction. Side, forward, really spreading wide, opening up your lungs, side and back. See if you can accompany that with your breath. Feeling when your body wants to inhale and when your body wants to exhale. And one more time, we're going to change direction. Letting the ball inside of your rib case change the direction. Spreading wide open, sideways, and closing your shoulders. Spreading the shoulders, closing the shoulders. And the very last time, change direction here one more time. It's the last time. Circling. 3 more circles here. With deep breathing. And then find yourself back in a seated position, like centered seated, placing your hands onto your thighs. And take a moment to just notice what this feels like in your body right now. What does it feel like in your chest after you have moved in this fluid sense, almost like a dance of your heart? What has changed for you? What are you aware of right this moment? And I'm curious to hear from a few of you of what the experience is for you right now. I'm going to do this popcorn style. So whoever likes to speak, just take yourself off muted, unmute yourself, and share what it feels like in your body right this moment. What has changed? It doesn't have to be like a life-changing moment. Just maybe you feel hot or you have different thoughts. I'm going to give this.
I feel it pulsating.
Pulsating?
Yeah.
Where do you feel the pulsation?
In my hands.
Oh, okay. So more blood flow in your hands is like, sounds like energy, more pulsation. Great. Thanks for sharing that. Gargi, is that how you say your name?
Gargi.
Gargi? Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
Thanks for sharing, Gargi.
No problem.
Someone else. Christina.
I feel a little bit more like
no.
relaxed, just overall tensions kind of left my body some.
Beautiful. Settling in more, connecting more with your body, more relaxed. Thanks for sharing, Kana. Christina is next.
Yeah, I feel similar to Connor, that I just realized I haven't been breathing very deeply lately. And so it was nice to be more aware of that.
Thanks for sharing that. Reconnecting with the body. Do we have one more share?
It sort of feels like my lungs are like taking up more space, if that makes sense. Like I've been breathing because of breathing deeper.
Yes. The lungs can take so much space inside of us, and they can have a fluid connection with the heart. And yet we often just breathe in one part of our lungs. And that way we are stagnant. We don't allow for the fluidity in our body to move. We all have a pattern where we move in a one particular area of our chest, but we don't really move into the upper chest or middle all parts of them. And so free up your lungs. It gives you a lot more potential for energy, for being with yourself. One last cheer, if we have one more. Okay, nobody wants to step forward. That's fine. Thank you for the shares that we have had. I'm going to take this now from the self-connection and self-awareness into connecting more with the outer world. Like we are a medium that's connected to all organisms, like we are our full organism within ourselves, but we're also interconnected. And when we can actually experience that through spatial connection. And I would like to explore the spatial connection with you so you can feel like how you are really part of the earth and the sky and the interconnection between all of that. So I'd like to invite you to stand up and step up on your feet, put the chair out to the side. So you're really standing on your feet. Place your feet underneath your hips, not too wide and not too narrow. So you want to have a little bit of space between your feet. So your body can rest on your feet. Make sure that you are balanced front to back between heel and the front of your feet. The hips are above your feet and the shoulders are above your hips and your head is above your shoulders. So there's this line of connection. If you're noticing that you have to fight to stand up, see if you can just align by moving forward and back between the balls of your feet, back to the heels and forward and back a few times. And then you find the midline. So you're right there where the ankle starts. And you feel like, oh gosh, I can settle onto my feet without needing to hold my legs or hold my lower back. A relaxed stance. Here, please close your eyes again. And place your hand on your belly, on your center body, your core. Take a moment to breathe into your hands, into your core. Notice that that is your center body, your lower center. We have the upper center, the heart, but we tuned in earlier. Now we have the lower center, your core, your chi, your life force. And from the center, you're gonna imagine energy lines moving down the inside of your thighs, down the inside of your lower legs, down your inside of your feet to the ground. And deep, deep down to the center of the earth. So your body now is connecting down to the earth. You want to imagine that your growing roots and the seed of these roots are in your center where your hands are right now. They're moving down your legs, particularly the inside of your legs, down the inside of your lower legs, your feet. And you're growing these roots downwards. Take a moment here to spread that imagination of growing down. You're like a tree that's anchoring yourself deep down to the earth. And as I'm doing this, I'm actually noticing that my feet are getting heavier. As you're growing these roots downwards, notice what happens for you. I'm getting a sense that I have a lot more weight in my legs. And I'm not sure if you're barefoot on socks or in shoes. It might be a different experience depending on what you have on your feet. But this works for all, no matter if you have shoes on or not. Sending those roots down and notice how that changes you. Now bend your knees slightly, bend your ankles, bend your hips so you can bend towards those feet and then you press into the feet, slowly getting back up to straight stance. It's not a big movement. It's just bending gently in your knees and your ankles and your hips. You press into the feet, all of the feet, so you come back up to standing. It's no rushed movement. Slowly bending and then like bench pressing. If you're doing workout, you're bench pressing your feet into the earth One last time, bending your knees, your ankles, your hips, and pressing back up so you stand. And then just notice again, what does that do for you? Your legs are relaxed, you're standing on your bones, on the alignment of your bones. No muscle tension necessary here. And then we're gonna leave the legs right where they are as they are grounded. We're gonna take our hands and place them on top of our head. Just gently rest them on your head. And now feel a connection from your core where you just had your hands up your spine, behind your heart, up your neck, into the hands on your head. And the way that you can connect that is by using your imaginary eye. You're gonna, in your imaginary eye, connect from your core, up your spine, behind your head, up your neck, into your hands. You can also think of a fountain, this upward energy of a fountain that moves from your core up into your hands. Your head being a ball that's on top of that fountains. A few more seconds here, feeling that upward motion of energy from your core up your spine into your hands. And then you really you slowly release your hands up towards the sky, up with your hands, and just free up your head as your hands come around and down, and just notice what it feels like right now with your head being open. There's no more hands on your head, and the energy keeps moving up the front of your body. Up. Feel that openness from the top of your head up to the sky, and see what that does for you. The top of your head is open. Energy is moving up. Maybe you feel longer and taller. Maybe you feel lighter. Maybe you feel a tingling sensation or any other sensations. And one more here. Take your arms out to the side, stretch them out wide, your fingers spreading. Arms are wide, no shoulders up. The shoulders can stay down with the shoulder blades resting on your chest, but your arms are stretching out to the side. Now you're going to connect from your heart out the shoulders into your hands. And you're going to reach to one side from your hands and reach to the other side. And just notice how you can reach into space. It doesn't stop here at your fingers. It actually moves out like a laser light. Imagine a laser light coming out of your arms. Laser light out of one arm, out of the other arm. Find stillness here and feel how you're laser lighting out of all of your fingers. Your laser light is coming from your core up your heart. Laser light goes out of your head, and laser light goes down from the core down both of your legs. You have laser lights down your legs, up your head, out of your arms. And notice how you are in this spatial connection. You're suspended. You're not alone, on chopped off from the connection. If your arms get tired, you can move them further down or do a different movement. Your laser lights can go anywhere in the space. They don't have to be stuck here. They can even move gently. They don't have to be holding. But use the spatial tension to reach out into the world, your energy reaching out and being suspended. Up the head, down the feet. Just a few more moments of exploring this laser lighting out into the spatial connection around you. And then drop your arms down. Keep laser lighting that center to feet, up your head, and even out your fingers while your arms are resting. And notice how the spatial tension, this creation of pulling the body lightly into different directions, how that changes your awareness of yourself. What do you notice about yourself? And what do you feel is possible now? What's different in this space of spatial tension? What's possible now that wasn't possible before? Just one more moment of noticing. And then I'd like to invite you back into seated position. And I'd like to open up sharing and words again. Maybe we can have some other people share that haven't shared yet. Just unmute yourself. If you don't have a lot of background noise at your place, you can just unmute yourself whether you speak or not. It's a nice place to just open up here at the end of our session to have everybody be part, unmuted, connect. Even if you hear some noise, it's fine. It doesn't have to be completely quiet. So you're invited right now to unmute.
I think, like you said at the very beginning, it's much easier to feel a little bit outside of yourself and connected with other things than just inside your own head.
Mm-hmm. Great. So first we went in and then we went out, and you do feel like it's possible to connect. Before you speak, just say your name. Whoever speaks, just say this is West, or this is Shelby, or this is Carolyn, and then you speak. And I know that sometimes it's really hard for people that are more introverted to speak, as they may want to think about first what they want to say. And I like to make room for you too. You don't have to be perfect in what you say, and it doesn't have to be perfectly formulated, and doesn't have to be mind shattering. Just any share goes.
I'm Hannah. I feel like I'm more aware of my joints. Like when we were kind of stretching, I feel much more aware of where my body's bending, I guess, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Yeah, where does your body actually move? Thanks for sharing. Riley?
Yeah, this is Riley. I was gonna say something of like I felt like I could feel my clothes more. After like a day, I feel like they just feel part of like my skin. So like I could feel more my like the weight of my clothes on my body.
Oh, interesting. All day long we're wearing clothes, and then all of a sudden you're like aware of like, I have clothes on my body. Yeah, interesting. So that's the boundary between the body and the outer world. Feeling that boundary. Thanks for sharing, Riley. Hope?
I'm Hope,
Mhm.
and I felt more of a heaviness in my feet and my heels, especially.
Mhm. Thanks for sharing. 2 more shares.
Hi, I'm Gargi. I felt tingling, more tingling in my palms and the bottom of my feet.
Thank you for sharing. Great, Gargi.
Hi, I'm West. I felt just more fluid in my body movements.
Great, more fluidity. Excellent. So now that you have had the experience of flow in your body through the chest movement, you've had the experience of where your breath is moving and how you can open up to more breathing, and you've had the experience of grounding down, sending roots to the center of the earth, reaching up, connecting through the tension of the body to the sky and out of the arms. I'd like to invite you, anytime you come onto these calls in the weeks ahead, to tune back into what it's like to be with you and what it's like to be out there through that spatial tension. So that it becomes a practice. It's not just a one-time experience today, but you can, before you jump onto this call, remind yourself of just sitting and breathing a few times, standing up and feeling the feet connecting, which is a beautiful opener to connect yourself and then connect out into the world, and to notice that water flow in your body. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I want to open up for 3 more comments on generally what you're taking with you from this class here today. Overall, like one thing that you think you'll be taking with you. So 3 more comments on that, please.
Hi. Something that I was thinking of during it was like I used to like try to meditate and my mind would wander. So I feel like I was kind of thinking more about how I should try to like focus in more on how like I breathe and more like focusing in on like my body and my internal self.
Great. That's a great way to be able to not let your mind hijack you by having a focus somewhere else than on the mind. So a body focus. Excellent.
I think what I'll be taking with me is letting my energy flow outside of my body instead of just feeling it within my body, like feeling it move out towards my head and my fingertips and into the ground.
Right. So that star-like radiation outwards. Wonderful. And one more share, please.
Christy again. I guess really biggest thing that I'm taking away is that I need to do more of these kind of exercises and reconnecting with myself. I have a lot of big decisions, like I'm sure all of us do, coming up at this point of our lives with grad school and careers, and I can't make decisions about that from a place of being overwhelmed, and I need to clear my mind, both instead of being. Yeah, that's what I'm taking with.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for participating so beautifully and also sharing both in comments and in your voices. And I'd like to hand it back over to Madeleine.
Thank you so much, Gitta, for joining us tonight. It was just incredible to have you share with us. And I think it really goes back to what we spoke about with this, first and foremost, being a community. We're all across the country in very different places and different grades and stages of our life. And it's so important as it is to connect with one another and as it is to connect with the environment, to connect with yourself as well, and to really take that time to dive deeply and breathe deeply and think about, what's happening with you so that you can better interact with other people and interact with the world around you. So that was just a beautiful session, Gitta. Thank you so much. And I
Thank you for having me.
Appreciated it as well. Thank you.
Yeah.